What's going on, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I was planning on reacting to a different topic, but unfortunately I just heard some really sad news that some asshole decided to chop down the most famous tree in Britain. I've never heard of this tree before. It's called the Sycamore Gap tree, but supposedly it was in a number of different movies, and it was just the most photographed tree in Britain, from what I understand. And it was just really famous, and it was just a beautiful tree in a beautiful area, and people like to go there for picnics, and it was just a very loved tree, from what I understand. I'm seeing all sorts of headlines and videos being made from different media sources on this tree. I'm surprised I've never heard of it before, but I believe it was in a Robin Hood movie. I believe it was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Is that what you call it? But I did see that movie a long time ago, so I probably have seen this tree at some point. But I love trees. I've always loved trees, nature, the woods. I just like being around trees, and so when I hear about someone chopping down a tree for no reason, just to chop it down for some reason, I don't even understand it. It really angers me because, obviously I'm looking at this tree right here. It is a very beautiful spot, a very beautiful tree. And to think they should just be able to come and chop something like this down for no reason. It's not your property. You're not building a house with it. It's disgusting. But anyways, guys, so I just wanted to check out a few short clips, a few short videos, and I also have an article pulled up at the end here that I may check out if I feel like I need to learn a little bit more, because I kind of want to see what happened, why someone chopped this tree down, and I also want to kind of see what it looked like in video beforehand, and just kind of get a little bit of the backstory around why this tree is so famous, and, just kind of understand the significance around this tree, if you understand what I'm saying. So anyways, guys, enough of my rambling. Let's go ahead and dive in. And this first video is a media video, a news video, talking about UK's iconic Sycamore Gap tree cut down by vandals.
The sycamore, once crowned the best
It really
tree
was a
in
beautiful
England,
tree, man.
hiked to, pondered at,
And
proposed in front of, was last night deliberately felled.
That's disgusting.
Northumberland police say a 16-year-old boy has been arrested in connection with
Wow.
what they said looked like an act of vandalism.
It looks like it's somebody who's known what they're doing. It's clearly machinery being used to do it. I'm certainly not an expert in it, but it's something that's obviously been planned. People love this. This is the image of Northumberland.
Wow.
It's the thing that's on all the postcards. It's the thing that's in the films, the photographs, the paintings. You go a really long way around here before you find someone who doesn't have an image of Sycamore Gap in their home. I've got one on my living room wall.
Wow. So this tree, especially for that area, is something that people have on their walls in paintings and photographs, and it's on postcards, and it really was a symbol of the area, Northumberland, right? Isn't that what she said? And obviously also just a symbol of England in general. And it's just disgusting. Look how beautiful this was. I get it, man. This is a place that I would go if I was in the area and I lived around the area. This would be a place that I'd hike to on a regular basis, and have a picnic under this tree on this stone wall here, and just look out the distance. And just this tree, would give you shade in the summer and just be a nice spot to reflect, and it's just beautiful. And I can understand why this became a symbol of the area, because it really was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tree in a beautiful spot. And it's just, why do people, 16 is old enough to understand not to do something so disgusting. And I don't know what kind of punishment someone gets for doing this type of vandalism, but you need some sort of severe punishment for this, because you didn't just cut down a random tree in the forest. You cut down a symbol of the area, a symbol of England, and that's a huge deal, man. And I can understand if people are very angry about this. I'm angry about this, and I don't even live in England. I'm angry about this because it's just, there was no reason for this. This is disgusting. And I'm as angry about this as I would be if this was a tree in my own backyard, because it's just what it symbolized to the people in England, and especially in the area the tree is in. I can't even imagine, how that feels. It is a loss. It's not just any old tree, but it's a loss. It's a big loss for the area and England in general. But let's continue, guys.
The Sycamore Gap tree stood in a dip in Hadrian's Wall, built to guard the Roman Empire's
Hadrian's Wall.
Western frontier.
I still need to react to that.
Its trunk was cut clean in two.
I've just been made aware that we've lost the sycamore at Sycamore Gap.
Among those mourning it today, Cy King, one half of the celebrity chef duo, the Hairy Bikers.
Well, I hope whoever's done that has a conscience, because you've just murdered a sentinel of time and elemental spirit of Northumberland.
I'm pointing in the direction of it. Can you see it from there?
Amanda's here to research the local area for her next book. She was one of the first on the scene.
This morning, when we pulled back the curtains about 7:30, 8 o'clock, I looked up and thought, there's something wrong. That does not look right. So my husband and I decided that we would go up, and coming up,
it's missing.
To see it.
We
were just staggered. That changed immediately from
look at that beautiful tree, man.
At losing kind of like an old friend, if you like, to shock and disbelief and, well, frankly, anger.
The National Trust said it was shocked and saddened. This was a landmark people travelled to see from far and wide, but above all, it was a source of immense local pride.
Wow. I'm sorry, guys, that you lost this symbol of Northumberland, the symbol of England in general. What do you say? It's just disgusting. And it almost makes me tear up. It's just because I saw how beautiful this tree was standing alone by itself. And you just think, I don't know how old this tree was, but they said centuries old. I'm guessing it was, I don't know, it could have been many hundreds of years old. I have no idea. It looked fairly big. I don't know how large sycamore trees get as they get older. I don't think they grow as large as like oak trees usually do. But it was a beautiful tree. I want to go ahead. The next video, I'll see you in just a second, guys. All right, guys, so this quick video is going to give me a general idea of what the Sycamore Gap tree and the area surrounding it looked like before it was unfortunately chopped down. And then once we are done with this short video, I have another video where people are on the scene after it's been chopped down, so we can kind of just understand the perspective and understand what has truly been lost here. So let's go ahead and check this out. Wow. This was a beautiful tree, and it's just, look how perfect that tree was right there, kind of on the bottom of these two hills and just standing tall in all its glory by itself. I can understand why people traveled from far away just to see this tree. It really is beautiful. Because, like, look at that. Look at this tree, man. I can imagine you hiking along here. I know this is, I can't think of what it's called. Just said it not on the last video, what this wall is called. I've been meaning to check out that wall, and now I'm definitely going to have to learn about this place. But unfortunately, if I ever decide to come to visit this wall, I won't be able to stop and see this tree anymore. But look at this. I can understand how sad everybody is from this tree being chopped down, because it really, really was a beautiful tree. And I can imagine, look at the significance this tree played in this area. Look at the importance of this tree. Do you see any other beautiful trees right here. No, it grew right here at the base of these two hills in this little valley here, sort of. And then you don't have any trees except over here, and I think there might be one down here on the bottom. But still, like, you look at this, it's just it was just such a beautiful tree, man. That's disgusting, guys. I can feel the sad energy that everybody seems to be having, and I totally get it. Anger, sadness, disgust. Because there was no purpose in this, man. All right, guys, so those videos, especially the last two videos, really helped me get a good perspective on what has truly been lost here. It was just a beautiful tree and a landmark, and it was just a place people like to go for picnics, and it was in movies, and it had been there for centuries, and it was just a representation of Northumberland and just England in general. People had paintings and photographs of this tree on their walls. It was on postcards, and it just symbolized the area, and now it's gone. And so it's more than just a tree has been cut down here. It has been, a great symbol for the area, and England in general has been lost because some asshole decided he had the right to take something special from everyone else in England. And it's just disgusting when people, for some reason, don't respect beautiful things. I don't understand why someone would choose to destroy something of beauty like this that had been at the spot for centuries. I don't know how long, but I'm guessing centuries. But anyways, guys, I kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about this tree, see if we could learn a little bit about its history, and just have a little bit more of an understanding of what's happened here. So we're going to check this article out and see if we can kind of piece together a little bit more about the history of this tree and, what happened and so forth. But despair flows after England's Sycamore Gap tree is cut down. Could it regrow? Well, obviously it could regrow, a sapling could, sprout up out of the old tree stump here and, and eventually one day could become a beautiful tree again, but it's going to be a very long time. It took this tree centuries to become what it is or what it was. And so to even get a fairly large tree in the area, you're talking about many decades. So this area is changed for a very long time. And so it's just a shame, man. I mean, look at that, man. Look at what's missing. I think most of you guys watching this probably, feel the same way I do about this, probably stronger if you actually live in England or the Northumberland area, because, this has been a tree you've most likely recognized as a symbol of England and your area for a very long time. And it was probably very special to a lot of you. And this is the first I'm hearing about it, but it still disgusts me because I can't stand when people destroy beautiful things like this for no reason. There was no reason to destroy this tree. I mean, look, it went from this, it stood in its glory in this little valley area between these two hills along this old ancient wall here. Which I do need to learn about pretty soon. But and now it's just this, and now it's just empty and void. And if I come along this, I wouldn't think anything of it because I had never seen this. But knowing now what it looked like, it's very sad to me because, one day I would want to visit this area and I no longer have the ability to actually see this beautiful tree in person that supposedly has so much history and is so beloved by the people. But let's go ahead and check this out, guys. The tree was special, giving visitors to Hadrian's Wall in Northumberland, England, a magical backdrop for picnics, proposals, and vacation photos, and supplying the rest of us with an image that looked to be a pinnacle of nature's timeless peace. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't even think about things like proposals, though. And obviously, vacation photos, if you're in an area, this would be a great spot to go get a photo. But this reminds me, if you were proposed to under this tree, I mean, I can imagine the loss that feels. Like my wife and I, we actually got married under a very, very large oak tree at the courthouse square in my hometown. And this tree is massive. I mean, I don't know how old this tree is, but I know the tree was there when the courthouse was built sometime in the I think it was early 1700s. And so that tree has been there for hundreds of years, like this tree. But, it's a different type of tree. And obviously this tree, it represented something different than the tree in my hometown does. I think the tree in my hometown is important, but this tree actually, it was a representation of England and the area in general. But I just want to say, I can kind of understand because I do have a few special trees in my life, and that tree that my wife and I got married under is a very special tree. And I would be very sad if something was to happen to that because I have a very beautiful memory under that tree. And so I'm sure there's a lot of people that have tons of beautiful memories with this tree that are now, it's just destroyed. And anyways, let's continue, guys. But the famous Sycamore Gap tree was cut down this week, setting off ripples of shock, sadness, and anger after a well-loved landmark was reduced to a stump. It felt genuinely mythical, said, describing her family's first visit to the tree in May. I'm a bit heartbroken. My kids will be too. No painter with my family says we hung this at home a couple years back. I always meant to go back and work on the sky. Took the pic on the right in May, the first time we visited in person. Felt genuinely mythical. I'm a bit heartbroken, to be honest. My kids will be too. Oh, that was the same. Okay. Officer arrested a 16-year-old boy Thursday in connection to what we believe was a deliberate act of vandalism. How could it not be a deliberate act of vandalism? I mean, he obviously chopped it down, or I think he took a chainsaw to it. There's no way he chopped it. He didn't chop that with an axe. He cut it down with a chainsaw, most likely. And it was so wide. There's no way he actually took an old tree saw. I can't imagine he did that. I'm sure he took a chainsaw and did it. What do you mean you believe? Of course, it was a deliberate act of vandalism. It doesn't even matter if he didn't realize the significance of the tree. Somehow, if he's a local boy, which I'm guessing he is, even if he didn't realize it was this tree of significance that so many people beloved and it represented the area in England, it was a landmark of sorts. Even if he didn't realize any of that, he still sees it's a beautiful tree in the middle of nowhere along this wall, and to think you have the right to cut it down is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm very curious about what's going to happen to him for punishment. Obviously, if he's guilty. I don't know any facts around this, but I think whoever's guilty of this needs to be punished, obviously. So I guess we'll see what happens. As the investigation continues, efforts are also underway to salvage the tree somehow through regrowth or grafting or starting over from a new seed. Yeah, I mean, they should make sure a tree grows back in that area. Obviously, is a beautiful area to have that beautiful tree, and hopefully either a tree will grow up out of the stump or they'll use a cutting from that tree and regraft somehow onto that and actually grow the same tree back, but it's just going to take a long time, unfortunately. The tree represents centuries of history. The tree grew for centuries in a gully along Hadrian's Wall, the ancient frontier of the Roman Empire, what is now northern England. Thriving in a landscape of rocks and grass, the tree was iconic, featuring on postcards and even in Kevin Costner's 1991 film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. We believe the tree to be around 200 years old. We are going to protect the remaining tree stump to see if it may grow again so that at least the legacy from the original tree endures. I think that's a great idea. Environmentalists are mourning this act of alleged vandalism. People are laying flowers at the site. The tree stood near the village of Once Brood, roughly an hour's drive west of Newcastle upon Tyne. Okay, so I kind of picture a little bit where the rough location of where it's at. I honestly got teary when I saw the news, especially for us Geordies. How do you pronounce that? Geordies? I've heard it before. I've seen it before. I can't remember how you pronounce it though. Geordies? It is such a special place, an iconic symbol. Part of North England. The National Trust Rangers are working to salvage what they can from the famous tree, hoping to preserve its genetic legacy. Regrowth from the original tree stump should be possible, but it's too early to tell. Even if that happens, she added, the tree's dramatic effect wouldn't be the same, as multiple stems would emerge rather than one. Seeds and grafting are also being explored. Our ranger team have been on site today to collect seed and wood, which is suitable for grafting, although it's not the ideal time of year to attempt either. We will see if we can get some of the seeds to germinate and produce new trees, she said. The team also plans to use the wood for grafting and to combine individual growth buds onto rootstocks with the goal of retaining the tree's unique genetic material. The Sycamore Gap tree is being seen as an emblem of that broader struggle, especially as the tragedy occurred at the same time as news that England is struggling to meet its goals of adding more tree cover. News that the famous tree was sawed down emerged one day after the National Trust and other conservation groups released the UK's 2023 State of Nature report, stressing the need to protect landscapes and stating the most important natural habitats are in poor condition. The UK now has less than half its biodiversity remaining because of human activity. Losing a landmark tree not through storms of disease, but to a human act highlights the challenge of reversing this trend. There is a much wider message here of the need to protect the natural world, which, after all, we are completely dependent on. The London-based charity Trees for Streets. Oh, my goodness, man. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about this tree, and unfortunately, it's under sad news. I hate this. I hate this for you guys. I hate that you lost this symbol of your area, this landmark, and I just hate it for anybody who's ever had any important events like proposals, maybe even weddings, perhaps. Fun family events, just who knows over the years what special events have happened under this particular tree, because it's not just some kind of, it's just a random tree out of hundreds in a forest somewhere. No, it's a very unique tree right here in this very unique spot. And so I can only imagine, what this tree means to so many people. And it's just sad. This would have been a place that, once I knew about it and if I was in the area, it's definitely a place I would have liked to go and maybe had a picnic or something, and it just would have been really cool. But what do you say? Unfortunately, people don't always respect beautiful things like this. And it's just sad and it's unfortunate, man. People just don't understand the importance of things like this. I mean, I'm all for, using trees, when we need to. We build houses out of them. We use wood for so many things. And I'm all for using trees, for those things. But you don't just go and just cut down random trees just very important trees like this for no reason. You just don't do it. But yeah, guys, I think that's all I have to say about that. Please let me know in the comments if you have anything else you'd like to tell me about this tree, or maybe share some other interesting natural wonders, or I just really enjoy learning about things like this. It's just unfortunately I had to learn about this tree after the fact. But yeah, guys, I'd love to hear about any of your recommendations you might have for me. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.